Championships here at Chesapeake Energy Center in Oklahoma City. This year's Fan Fest will feature star-studded autograph opportunities, elite-level clinics, and the greatest wrestling history has to offer. And of course, there's plenty of great food, beverages, vendor booths, and the Win magazine open throughout the day. The Fan Fest is the only place to be in between championship sessions for all the fun you could possibly handle, and we're pleased to have you here at this year's event. But now, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have waited all season for. One of the most exciting nights in all of collegiate sports, and with every great American sporting event comes the pregame excitement, analysis, and debate. So welcome to wrestling's version of College Game Day, the NCAA Division I Wrestling Championship Semifinals Preview Show. We have our sport's most eloquent and opinionated analysts to break down each weight's matchups that decide who gets to wrestle on the raised baby blue mat. And I'm sure each of you has a favorite out there, and we are going to want your input. I'll be coming out into this crowd later during the show to take your questions. I guarantee that these gentlemen will have no shortage of opinion, but they also have the knowledge to back it up. Each of them has been covering college wrestling around the country throughout the season. This week, they have been on the floor talking to the coaches, the wrestlers, and some of them have even experienced firsthand the pressure of being this close to an individual national championship. Please join me in welcoming our semifinals preview show panel of experts and our moderator. First up, as a wrestler, our first panelist was a three-time NCAA champion for Iowa State University. Please welcome Olympic bronze medalist, Mr. Nate Carr. During his competitive days, Sports Illustrated labeled our next analyst as the most exciting wrestler ever to walk onto a wrestling mat. He's a two-time NCAA champion. Please welcome the unflappable Mr. Wade Shales. Chalice. It's not a roast, it's just a mistake on my part, Wade. I apologize. And rounding out our team is the founder and host of Takedown Radio and TV and the USA Wrestling TV programs, now seen in over 54 million homes each week. Ladies and gentlemen, he is one of the most aggressive promoters of wrestling that we have, the one, the only, Mr. Scott Casber.
Put your phones to vibrate. All right. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Let's bring that volume up a little bit. First of all, how lucky am I to sit one away from Wade Shales, ladies and gentlemen. Wade Shales down here in the end. How about a round of applause for Nate and Wade? Thank you, guys. We've been doing this now for a couple years, and what fun we are having with it. It just keeps getting better and better, and we are so proud of it. And we're so proud that you've chosen to spend some time with us here today. Dave, thank you very much, and don't go too far. I know we're going to get some questions from you folks in the audience as we go through. Here's what it is. We're going to break down every weight class. There are four guys in the semis, as you know. Makes sense, right? Well, there are four guys who are equally talented and able to win their way through to the championship round that'll take place here at the Chesapeake Arena on Saturday night. It's going to be a battle, no doubt. We're going to start at 125, and let's bring up our charts, our graphs, if you will, our slides, and we begin at 125. And I know this one is going to be an active bout for sure, and I know there's a lot of fans out there with some opinions. With Wade Chalice. Wade, 125, welcome back to the stage. You look good. You keep telling everybody you've got an opinion, then you start writing about it, and I tell you what, you've got one for sure. How do you feel about 125?
Well, I think the Clarion guy looks pretty good at the first weight class in the top bracket, and the Old Dominion guy, that's going to be a pretty good one. Oh, I'm not Kenny. I'm sorry.
Where is Ken? Is he here?
Is Kenny here? Delegata. He's like a Cirque du Soleil of acrobatics. He's all over the place. Mr. Funk, flip-flop, defending champion, does extremely well in wrestling. Has tripped a couple times during the year, but it's national time. He's defending champion. I see him to do the same thing tonight. Dylan Peters is a solid wrestler, a very good wrestler. He wouldn't be where he's at right now. although Delgado did beat him during the year by a point, I think that'll be the spread again this evening. I see Delgado winning in the top bracket. What do you got in the bottom bracket, Nate?
Well, definitely, Garrett. Great balance, great on the mat, and it seems like when he wrestles Megaludis, he's just a little bit bigger in size, just stronger, quicker, and he seems to overpower him before the match is over. So it's going to be a good one. I'm going to take Nishan Garrett over Megaludis.
Nico Megaludis is the Penn State cat that is beating up on everybody. He's so good. It's so fun to watch. Jesse Delgado, for me, a Big Ten and a returning national champ. I remember that interview I did with him last year. The emotion that came from him was so genuine, so real. And on the other hand of it, you got Dylan Peters. Nice job by that young man out of Northern Iowa, and what a story it is for Northern Iowa to emerge from the ashes, much like the Phoenix. Nice job. Nishan Garrett, that is a guy that, according to Rob Cole, is so vastly underrated, underranked.
Awesome.
I mean, it's as close to perfect wrestlers you're going to get. But then again, we got 4 of them. My pick, Delgado goes all the way, retains the number 1 spot, wins the national title.
And I think Peters it's tough. He's one of 8 freshmen in the semifinals. And so
What I like about Megaludis is he's, for coaches and young men that are in the audience, he's a great example of something that I would like to have on my team. He runs back to the center of the mat every time. He doesn't get called for stalling. He wrestles with class and dignity. He's a hustler. He's been in the finals twice now. He's a great wrestler. He's going to run into a very, very good wrestler in Nashon this evening. That'll be a good one. But Garrett has beat him twice this year out of two meetings. And what makes Garrett so good is he hits and finishes so quickly that the funk and flop that Nicholas Megaludis has won't be effective. He's going to get knocked on his backside for a quick 2. It's not going to be I'm slipping around and you're snaking around on me. Like when the best 2 matches, if it would happen tomorrow night, Delgado and Megaludis are the most fun to watch because and most impossible to referee.
So who do you have?
Oh, for the Delgado's going to win it all.
and I'm going with Delgado. His efficiency, Delgado is efficient at finishing leg attacks like no other.
Either one of you guys need to buy a vowel? All right. Before we go to 133, we want to ask you your opinion periodically. We're going to do it. At 125, who wins it? And you can just shout it out. 1, 2, 3. Who is it? Who said Nelson? Now, Nelson's a heavyweight. See, he can't wrestle on this one, so he's not eligible. All right. Good job out of you. Coming up next, we have a very special guest. Each year we have a special guest or two. This year we're lucky to have two. Thought since we're in Oklahoma, we might reach out to some of the Oklahoma faithful from both programs at the Division I level here. First one, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him to the stage. He is a very proud Cowboy, won 2 national titles for him, and a great young man, now making his impact as an international wrestler and also a great coach. How about a round of applause for Jordan Oliver right here. Jordan Oliver. All right, so Jordan, you got a little taste of what we're doing up here, basically. A lot of sarcasm thrown in with some expertise. We're just going to ask you to offer up your opinion. Do you have an opinion at 25? Hold it right up there, the mic right up to...
My pick for 25, it's a hard pick. This is a jam-packed weight with Megaludis, Garrett, and Delgado, which is the returning national champion. You can't count out Peters. He's a tough kid. Been watching him through the tournament. If I had to pick, I'm going to go with Nishan Garrett. He has a relentless attack. He's fast, he's strong, and he can score from any position, no matter if it's on top. He's a great on bottom. He can get out, and he can take you down from anywhere.
That's some good points. 33, obviously, we're going to focus on 33. By the way, our next guest is going to be coming up, Sam Hazewinkle, so stay tuned for Sam. We'll have him on as a guest in the second half of this, and we're lucky to have both of them, both the Cowboy and a Sooner up here, and their opinions. They're able to set aside their colors and join each other on stage. I like that a lot. Are you able to set aside colors? Is that real hard down here? Separate out Oklahoma State and Sooners?
When you put Oklahoma State and the Sooners together, always going to be a fight. It's a brawl. It's almost like putting Oklahoma State and Iowa together. It just doesn't work.
That's when you take the belt off and you hit with the buckle first, right?
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, 33 coming up next. If we can get our slide, gentlemen, here we go. Tyler Graff and Joe Cologne. Again, another one of these kids from Northern Iowa that Doug Schwab has just absolutely been able to climb in the head of. Remember, he went to Central College up there, the home of the Tritons in Fort Dodge, and he won a title there as well, a JUCO title. Let's start this time with Brother Nate Carr. Nate, no vowels, no extra vowels.
Yeah, Joe Cologne is awesome. He's a fighter. He's tough mentally. And I really like his bear hug. I mean, he just forces you up top, and he's just going to bear hug you and pretty much just throw you down. He's tough on top. He could ride the legs. He could tilt. And, you know, he's just ready to win. And Penn Ramos earlier this year, I mean, the guy is tough. Tyler Graff, he's quick, strong, great read shots. But definitely Cologne is the man.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I think Cologne he's street tough. Graff is wrestling tough. And between the two, I'll take street tough anytime. And Joe is just that kind of wrestler. Tyler's been out for the second half of the year, most of the year. Just got back for the Big Tens. He lost by 1 to Ramos there. I think he's a top 3 wrestler. You know, I think he's third in the division, third toughest here. I think Joe's going to win it in the semis in the upper bracket. Down below, you have the puncher, that's the Ramos, and you have the counter puncher, and that's Shop. Ramos will come after you, heavy hands on the head, tire you out. He's probably the athlete that has done the most with the amount of talent that he has. Ramos works harder than anybody else in the Iowa room, and you guys know what kind of room that they have at the University of Iowa. Ramos just exceeds all expectations of his level of talent. He's not your Cologne. He's not Garrett at the 125. A very good athlete. Shop is the counter puncher. He's good for 4 or 5 points at a clip. You know, you make a mistake, he's going to put you on your back. I think Shop's going to win it in the semis in the bottom bracket. I think Cologne at the top, and I'm going to go with Cologne to win it all. But this is a very good weight class.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and everybody here is going to be the winner for having got a chance to watch this.
Jordan Oliver, I'm sure you probably have a differing opinion for a variety of reasons, but looking at the talent at 4, who do you see?
You're going to be surprised when I tell you. I believe these are going to be 2 upsets. I believe Tyler's going to come through the top half of the bracket, and Tony coming through the bottom half of the bracket. Reason why is these guys have been here. They've competed at nationals, and you know, Tony was a runner-up, and Graff is All-American. I see them two making it to the finals, but I have Tony Ramos winning it all.
Okay, here's the deal. AJ Shop, Tony Ramos, Edinboro. This kid coming out of Edinboro is one of the let me tell you something. I think he's been underranked. Another one of those guys who's going to be kind of out of the radar, EWL champ, but still, he is just so talented, and it's a natural wrestler for me.
That's right.
I'd like to see what Tony Ramos does for sure. He just gets out there, and it's like, it's my phrase of the year. It's like wrestling a bag of hammers, and claw hammers at that, you know, so it's got some sharp points to it. You know you've wrestled this cat. Isn't that true?
Yeah, when you step on the mat against somebody like Ramos, you know it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a fight to the end of the match. No matter what position you're in, he's going to be pulling on your head, shooting his single leg, trying to snap you down. So I just see Tony being too much and too much pressure for Shop.
Hey, what'd you think about their wrestling earlier when they met and Shop wrestled and beat him?
I just think Tony needs to pick up the action a little bit more. Shop did a great job with his top wrestling and riding, and he always has that threat to turn somebody. So you can never count Shop out, but like I said, Tony's been here, and I think he's going to get it this year.
All right, and as much as Joe looks like a pirate, by the way, I think Joe's look, if you put him in a hat,
That
maybe
guy's,
some pirate
like Wade
clothes.
said, he's street tough. I mean,
He
he's
can-
tough. He went through some struggles. He's back. He's changed his life, and Schwab is doing a great job.
True wrestling has changed his life.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's-
wrestling brought him up. Let's give a round of applause to all 4 of these young guys before we ask your opinion. This is an outstanding group of kids. Truly are. MAC champion, NCAA runner-up. You've got EWL champion, 3-time All-American. I mean, all these boys have got some incredible achievements, and they're all good students. So who wins it? Count of three. 1, 2, 3. You know, it sounds like Ramos.
No, those first two rows are Iowa.
Okay. All right. Why would that matter? Of course, I mean, Iowa fans have always been brutally honest. They don't always vote for Iowa. Do they? All right. Well, but I understand the Minnesota kids always vote for Minnesota, Robin. All right, let's go to 41 pounds. Jordan, let's start with you on this one. Evan Henderson, Devin Carter are going to face off. Devin Carter most recently comes back to Virginia Tech in a surprise reemergence into the lineup after a devastating injury. We thought we'd lost him, but he comes in with a limited exposure on the year with the injury, coming out 20-0. ACC champion, he is wrestling to perfection. It doesn't seem like the injury cost him any time. What's your thoughts on Devin Carter and Evan Henderson?
I think Devin, no matter who Devin wrestles, doesn't matter. Kid's ranked number 1. The kid's not ranked at all. He's one of those wrestlers that goes out. He's looking to score points. He's looking to put pressure on his opponents, and he works from his positions. So, with that said, I see Devin Carter, taking this one maybe by bonus.
All right, so top half, Devin Carter. Bottom half, Logan Stieber, Zane Rutherford, number 2 versus number 3. And Stieber just looks like he's having a ball out there, man.
He's on a roll.
Yeah.
He's teching and pinning dudes and making guys look bad. He's just him and Zane Rutherford. You can't overlook Rutherford. He's beaten Stieber once this year, and Stieber's beaten him once. So this is a split matchup. But once again, I'm gonna have to go with Logan Stieber. He has the experience. He's a 2-time national champion. He knows what it takes to get it done.
Years ago, of course, this man all the way to the end, Wade Chalice, gave Stieber the nickname Logie Bear. So who wins it? Wade, you've got an opinion on all 4 of these guys. Let them hear it.
Devin Carter's beaten Henderson in the ACC finals, got the outstanding wrestler in the ACCs as a result. I see that happening again tonight. I think Carter's going to be in the finals. His time off didn't hurt him at all. Matter of fact, a lot of times injury time off has a tendency to make you come back and forget about the fear of where you are. You're so hungry to get back in the lineup because you've been missing so much time that you just go out and open up and wrestle and be the best you could be. A lot of times time off doesn't hurt an athlete. When they come back, they're usually even better than they were before they got hurt. So I think Carter's going to be in the finals. Zane Rutherford, one of the best freshmen you'll find coming around. Well, there's 4 major freshmen in this tournament. He's certainly one of them. He's beaten Stieber during the year. Zane could probably beat anybody on this planet. Unfortunately, Stieber's from Krypton. And
He's beat him, though.
Well,
he went to Krypton and came back.
Yeah, whatever. Kryptonite, whatever. Anyhow, Stieber's probably the best wrestler in this tournament at any weight class. He is our next Kyle Dake. He beat a world champion this summer. No one else in our tournament has beaten a world champion. He has. And he's going for a 3rd title, and he's going to get a 4th title, and there's nobody else in this lineup in any of the weight classes going to have 4 titles like he is. He is in the class by itself, and he's champ tomorrow night. The only way he's lose is if they move the tournament to another city and fail to tell him about it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great match. Both of these guys have what I call mat management.
Hang on just a second. You see this all over? You see what I got to do every year? I don't know where this crap comes from. Like they're going to move the tournament.
It's Wade Shales.
It's Shales, everybody. All right.
But yeah, I think both of these guys are great strategists, and they're in control. They know what the score is. They know each other very well. I thought in the Big Tens that Logan Stieber really came out, was very strong, took down Zane pretty easy, and that made a difference in the match, and I think he's going to start off that way. But if Zane can stop the takedown, it's going to be a very interesting match. It's not like he's going to beat him by 5.
How big an impact do we have here? I mean, it's a freshman versus a junior, and Jordan, you could probably best answer that question. What are your thoughts? Freshman versus a junior, bottom half. Is there a big difference there in your estimation? You've seen both these guys perform.
By the years that are passing, we're starting to see more and more freshmen, beat upperclassmen. I just don't see it happening with Zane Rutherford beating Logan Stieber.
Is that just the sheer number of matches we're seeing athletes bring into their collegiate experience?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, Zane's a tough wrestler. I just believe Logan's in another class.
All
I
right.
think he's a two-time national champ. He knows what it's going to take, and he's beaten Zane, and he has to do it again.
So-
I believe he will.
Again, your pick. So at 41, you've got Stieber.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Wade.
Yeah, Stieber. It's not about whether they're sophomore, junior, or freshman. Stieber, if you throw him up in the air like a cat, he'll land on his feet 10 out of 10 times. Rutherford will land on his feet 8 out of 10 times. He's a very good athlete. He's going to win a couple national titles before he's done for Penn State, but Stieber is in a class by himself.
Yeah, I'm going with Logan, but I think it's going to be a great match.
Good. So you're not going to touch the whole cat thing?
No.
No. All right. Good. Then let's ask you fans who wins at 41. Is it Henderson, Carter, Stieber, or Rutherford? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Is Devin's mom and dad here? There. You know, I actually like Devin Carter too. I think
He's
if anybody
tough.
stands a chance, the comeback kid coming back in a year, man, this guy's got it going on. I like that. That Virginia Tech, it's Kevin Dresser country there. That young man has really made a difference at Virginia Tech, and they've made a difference in his life. I've got Devin Carter. Neat choice there. It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. All right, final match here as we turn to Page. Let's go to it. Up next, 149 pounds. It'll be Hodeshelt. Hodeshelt from Missouri. And this young Tiger is only a junior, yet he wrestles like he has been on the mat forever. His opponent, one of the T-shirt gang, is out of Northwestern, a redshirt freshman, Jason Surtis. Not only of these freshmen that's making a difference in a Big Ten champ, he's got a great big smile, and he knows how to beat you when you look into that smile. For the bracket, Mitch Minotti out of Lehigh, a redshirt freshman, another one of them, took second in the EIWAs. And across the mat is a guy, I remember when he told me he was going to go to school some, 5, 6, 7 years ago. He's a senior now, but it seems like he's been at Oklahoma State forever. He said, I'm going to be a Cowboy. You might as well just call me Cowboy Kindig. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bona half of it, Joshua Kindig. Let's start with Nate Carr. Nate, the interesting matchups.
Yes, I think Drake is just having a phenomenal year, and he's good in all positions, and he shows up on the mat ready to go. Cirques is tough, won the Big Tens, knows how to win.
Yeah.
And he's tough, well-rounded, great background, great skill, but I'm going to go with Drake, on the top side.
How about the bottom?
Josh Kindig.
Kindig?
Yes. Minotti's
You're
funky.
just saying that because Jordan Oliver's sitting within throwing distance here.
That's true.
Okay. Not a lot of. No, seriously, that's who you want.
Yes, I'm going to go with Kindig.
All right. So Hodeshelt and Kindig, the bottom
Yes.
at the end of it all. Let's go to Wade Chalice. Wade?
Oh, in the upper bracket, I think Drake's going to be the man there. I like Jason. He wrestled a great match the last time he was out there this afternoon. He's had 3 matches that have been relatively close, all 3 rounds, which when you're in a national tournament, it's really hard to have 5 really close matches and come out a champ. Usually your earlier rounds, as you're seeing with David Taylor, 3 pins. You're seeing with Stieber, 3 pins. The best dogs in the fight usually have some good matches early on, and then they get closer as you get closer to the finals as the competition toughens. Jason's had some close ones, so I say that doesn't bode well for him in the semis. Drake has done a little better coming up through. They're both capable of winning. I'm going to say Drake by 2, although I would not be surprised at all if Jason won. Down in the bottom bracket, you have the 11th seed and the 15th seed. That got decimated down there, and the two best wrestlers still standing is Kindig and Minotti. Should be a good one. I have to give it to Kindig based on their schedule. They wrestle all over the place. Oklahoma State, Lehigh does to some extent as well. But I think that a senior experience versus a redshirt freshman will make the difference here. They're probably both evenly matched. That could go either way as well, and I don't want to, say everyone's going to win here. So I'm going to go with Kindig. Drake's going to win it in the finals.
Hey, Jordan, Wade did said he could win that bracket, the bottom part.
I don't know about that.
He said that.
Going with the top half of the bracket, talking about Drake Hodeshelt and Jason. I'm going to take the upset here. I think Jason pulls this one out and makes it to the finals. Drake's a real good wrestler, and also Jason. Jason can score from anywhere. Like Wade said, he's had a lot of close matches, but I don't think that means anything. Going into semifinals, it's going to be another hard, tough match for him, close match, and I see he's comfortable at winning these close matches, and he's been doing it. So I'm going to take Jason Surtis up top to win the close match, make it the finals. Now this puts me in a position here. I'm Oklahoma State.
We understand.
Well, thank you for your opinion. We'll let you get out of that easy.
There it is.
Next weight class.
I've known you a while, dude, and it's not like you're not going to be honest with us. This is where you work. You do coach here. You are a former Cowboy. It would be easy to see you pick Kindig.
Yes, but Mitchell Minotti is from Easton and is really great friends with the family.
Oh.
But with that being said, I'm Oklahoma State. I'm a Cowboy. I'm picking Josh Kindig to pull through and make it to the finals.
So tip of a hat.
And take it all home for the Cowboys and bring home a national title.
All right, that was very political of you, young man. Good job, Eddie. What was your degree in again?
Education.
Education. He's learned something. How about a round of applause for Jordan Oliver and that balancing? Good job on the fence there.
Cowboys.
So top half, you got 1 and 5. Bottom half, 11 and 15. That's a spread. That's a spread result of a very intense bracket, and the fight goes on. And I tell you what, I think it comes down to what you fans are going to think, because we have an incredible collection here at 49. Who wins this thing on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Now I heard Minotti as well. All right. And you know what? He's from Easton? You said he's Easton boy? All right. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with my favorite for a long, long time. That's Cowboy Kindig. I'm going with the Cowboy as well.
I agree.
It's a natural for me. And you get seniors, freshmen, and juniors. Boy, that's a tough weight.
And
49.
by the way, the two bottom bracket guys, they live 30 miles away from each other. They're both Pennsylvanians.
Both Lehigh Valley boys.
That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So we got one more weight class for you, Jordan. I know you've got some coaching duties to get to, so let's roll through it. 157 pounds, that's up next. And folks, before we go to 157, let me just remind you that if you haven't bought your tickets for next year's NCAA Championships in St. Louis, Missouri, we encourage you to get your tickets. They are going quickly, are not sold out. Last year's event in Des Moines, Iowa, at the Wells Fargo there, sold out in an hour. Well, this one holds about, I don't know, it's like 4,000 more people, something like that. So if you haven't got your tickets, plan now to attend the Championship City's presentation of the NCAA Championship, St. Louis, Missouri, next year, same time. I guarantee it's going to be an incredible cast of characters going to be competing there. So make your plans now. Get your tickets, NCAA Championships. All right, our guest panelists again, Nate Carr, Wade Chalice, Jordan Oliver. We go to 57. It's Dylan Ness, top half of the bracket, Minnesota. Ian Miller across the way, Kent State. It's a junior and a sophomore. I've made no bones about it. This year I picked Minnesota to win the NCAA Championships by 2. Did it as many as 4 months ago. They are very close. It's a rock-throwing contest right now, and one of the reasons is because of this Dylan Ness kid. We saw it earlier. It was an exciting round. We're going to talk about it. Bottom half of the bracket, Alex Derringer, Oklahoma State, and Brian Rillabuto as well. Let's start with Wade. Wade, this is a rock-throwing contest if there ever was one.
Well, there's such a style difference between all four wrestlers. Ness came in, he's seated ninth, he's had a few bumps along the way, but when you wrestle him for the first time, he's going to beat you. He's going to find, like he did with St. John this year, he pinned him. Ness has that type of style. The only person in this whole tournament that could have beaten Green from Nebraska was Ness, and Green fell right into his game. And nobody else can beat Green, and if it was a different bracket, Ness might not be in the finals, and it'd be Green winning the tournament. But it is the way it is, and Ness did a very fine job. They wrestled earlier in the year, Ness and Miller. Miller pinned him in the first period. Didn't know how it went, but I'm assuming Ness threw an elevator, got caught on his back. So I'm not considering that a win or a loss. It's just a match that doesn't exist. And we're going back to who's going to win this one again. Yeah, I think Miller's a solid choice. He's good basics, good singles, doubles, high crotch, sprawls really well. Dylan will come out of anywhere with different types of things. And if you've never wrestled him before and you're not sure, you could get caught. I think Dylan's hot. Money should go on Miller, but my gut says Ness is going to win it, but that could go either way.
Hey, wait, I think Green and Ness did wrestle, and Green won. I mean, they have wrestled before.
Well, okay, if you say so. I didn't see it on my list. But anywho, down below, Alex, he's just an outstanding athlete for Oklahoma State. Last year he came in as a freshman, redshirted freshman, and ran through the tournament, had back, took third. They're looking for big things from him. He's producing that again this year, or stepping in to take the lead on the team. He's got to be the favorite there. But Brian, he thumped a very good St. John this last match. So he's for real. And I always like Cornell, and it's such a very well-coached team. Coach Cole, they always have one or two kids that come along. You go, where did he come from? And Brian this year is that type of person. He's doing a nice job. Beat St. John again solidly last round. So I think it's going to be a good match there. I have to give it to Alex just because he's been there before. But this is just one of those very nice flip a coin in the air type of tournaments. I'm going to say Alex to win it all, Ness to be second.
Right, I'm going to go with Ian Miller. He pinned him, and I think that, but Ness is going to be a great match. Ness can just throw you out of nowhere, and Ian is solid, he's strong, he's explosive. I think he has the edge. And Alex Derringer, I think he's going to beat Brian. They did wrestle, and Derringer beat him by 4 at the scuffle. So I know it's a new tournament, it's a new season when you get to nationals, but definitely going with Derringer with the experience.
Jordan Oliver, final opinion goes to you, sir. And again, we have one of the coolest names in all of cowboy wrestling history, Derringer. Okay, but let's break it down. How do you feel about 57?
I shouldn't even be asked this question, who I'm going to pick to win it. Last year was my training partner.
Yeah.
This year I'm training with him consistently, getting him ready for the NCAA tournament. I got to go with Alex Derringer. Reason, he's already have wins over Dylan Ness, Ian Miller, and Brian Roboto all this year. Close matches, but then again, it still puts that confidence in his head coming into these matches. He has a win over these guys, and I see him opening the gap when he wrestles Roboto and whoever wins up top, which I'm going to go with Dylan Ness. But don't get me wrong, Ian Miller and Dylan Ness, it's going to be fireworks in that match. Both of these guys throw bombs and throw things from left field. You don't know what's going to happen. With Ness, you already know he's going to go for the elevator, but there's not too much you could do to stop it, as we've seen this past 3 matches. So with that being said, I'm taking over Ian Miller to make the final, and Derringer over Roboto. And Derringer makes it to the finals and puts on the show and brings home the title.
All right, so you got Derringer going all the way. One more time. Wade, who gets it? Short answer, one name.
Champion?
Yep.
Alex.
Alex?
Alex.
All right. Folks, who do you think it is? 1, 2, 3. All right. How about this? You know what? We're going to skip, because due to lack of time, I want to get you folks back to the arena in time. We're going to skip questions, but before we go to our next guest, I want to thank Jordan Oliver for taking the time. Jordan, who do you want to say thanks? Big shout out to who? Anybody? Any sponsors, agents? I know your agent's here.
First off, I want to say thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be up here and break it down. Obviously, I was biased towards Oklahoma State. I'm always going to be. But also, big shout out to Adidas Wrestling and Flips Wrestling. And big shout out to my agent, and go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys, indeed. How about a round of applause for Jordan Oliver? Fine young man. Thank you, Jordan.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yeah, I knew you were going to take Cowboys. I bet your next guest probably takes the Cowboys too. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for our next very special guest out of Norman, Oklahoma. His family is a fixture in the sport of wrestling, and so has he become. A member of the Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling world, please welcome an Oklahoma Sooner, if there ever was one, 2012 Olympian Sam Hazewinkle right here. So, you know, we're doing that balancing act between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Absolutely.
And trying to treat everybody fairly. And the over to your right is something you used to run out from underneath, man, that big wagon over there. And I tell you what, there's a whole lot of pride in being a cowboy or being a Sooner. I asked the question earlier of Oliver, is it still hard to put aside the colors?
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yes. All right. That's not as honest as you're going to get.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready to start things up? You understand
I'm
how the game show
absolutely
works?
ready.
Okay.
I know the heavyweight, bigger guys, like inside and out.
'Cause here's the deal. Winner between you and Oliver gets to have dinner with Wade Shales.
Oliver.
Wade Shales.
Yeah.
But I'll cheat. I'm going to try to win, Wade. I'd love to have dinner with you.
I didn't
Yeah,
say he
I'll
was
do what I
buying.
have
I
to.
said you get to eat with him. I didn't say he was
Oh,
buying.
that's a good point.
Yeah. All right. You ready to go to 57? Let's do it.
No, 65.
You want to go to 65?
65 would be a good thing.
All right, let's do it. 65's up next. I thought we already did 57. I don't know what you're talking about, Wade. All right. Top half of the bracket has one of the most favored wrestlers in the history of the NCAA championships. Young man is about as perfect as he can come, and his parents are some of the nicest people I think I've ever met on planet Earth. He's 35-0, and there's a reason for it. He's coached by Cale Sanderson, but when he met Cale Sanderson, he was 35-0. He's been 35-0 his entire life. This guy is about as good as it gets. Across the way, a young man coming out of North Dakota State, and you're watching what Roger's doing up there. It's an amazing genesis of the program. At the top half, you got North Dakota State versus Penn State. David Taylor versus Stephen Monk. I'm not going to talk about the bottom half of the bracket yet. Let's start with you. This has got to be one of your favorite weights.
Yes, David Taylor's just awesome. It's just, he's dominating. As a matter of fact, this is one of the only weights that actually, where they got seated, they're there, So nothing's really changed. The cream rose to the top here. David Taylor is awesome. Steve Monk is definitely, he's a competitor. So you never know, but man, David Taylor all the way.
Let's go to Wade Chalice. Wade, you've got Sulzer, Caldwell at the bottom, and at the top half, again, it's Taylor, Monk. Is David Taylor beatable? Is there anything you see in his performance that will allow any one of these guys to beat him?
Well, I mean, I've seen some really good wrestlers come in, and a couple come to mind. Les Gutchess was going for a third NCAA title and got headlocked by Reese Andy from Wyoming many years ago. The only way Taylor's going to get caught is like when he got caught his freshman year in the NCAA finals.
No, he didn't get caught, did he?
He got pinned in the
I
finals.
actually called that before the match. I said,
Did
he's
you
gonna
do
get
that?
caught. Yes. And you said you were going to win the lottery, and you didn't. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
He also renamed a move called the Spladle. What was it called before you called it the Spladle?
Shells.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
I've hit a Shales before.
Anyhow, Taylor's, there's two weight classes. Taylor's one of them, and the other one is Stieber. I'm not going back to Stieber, but that the athletes are great in all three positions. David Taylor is a national champion on his feet. He's a national champion when he's underneath. No one can hold him down. He's a darn good national champ on top. And these all three positions. Monk's a good, solid wrestler, but he's been to the NCAAs before, but he has never placed at the NCAA tournament, and he's a senior. So this is some place that he hasn't, this is untested territory for him, and he's going against someone that's relatively good. I mean, I think everybody here is going to say Taylor, unless Steven's mom and dad and uncle are over here somewhere. But it's going to be Dave in the finals in the 65 in the upper bracket. I think Monk's, is going to come right back in there. He's going to be in there for third and fourth place. Down below, Tyler Caldwell. I've never been overly impressed with Tyler. He's good. He's solid. He always gets in your face. But he hasn't opened up. He always tried to keep the match close. And this tournament, he's involved. He's a senior. I've seen him open up a lot more. He's won my heart over. I always wanted to root for him, but he just always kept it too close for me. I just didn't like it so much. I didn't like the action. I always have.
He's never done anything to impress you. He's number 2 seed. You know that, right?
Well, when you're number 2, I'm impressed or not impressed by your seed. Are you the second best kid in the country? And I use that as the gauge. It's not like I'm impressed with him with the other 36 guys in the weight class. He's supposed to be national champ. He hasn't been national champ so far, but he has the capability now. I see him opening up, and that's the point I was trying to make. He's still not in the same league with Taylor. On any other given year, this is one of those when you get stuck and you happen to be in the same weight class as Dan Gable when you were wrestling in college. Darn, you're probably a national champ in any other weight class in any other year. You just happen to run into Gable. Taylor would be going for his 4th title here if it wasn't for a guy named Dake. And somebody else, I forget what the kid's name was.
Bubba Jenkins, yeah.
And he's a freshman, but it's going to be Taylor and Caldwell, I think, in the finals.
You said that earlier.
You just
Taylor
said
win.
that a little bit
You said
ago.
the year doesn't matter.
You said it.
Did I say that?
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Let's go over to Sam
told me to say that.
Hazewinkle. Yeah, do the years matter, Sam?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
It can be in the back of your head a little bit, but I'll tell you,
You got
Taylor.
you got 3 seniors and a junior here.
That's true. And you got the top 4, which doesn't happen very often,
No.
especially not this year. But the program they gave out talked a little bit about some numbers, and I'll tell you what, Taylor's numbers were impressive. I don't know if you looked at that or not. His amount of pins, his amount of majors, his amount of techs, his winning percentage, just what he's done is incredible. If there wasn't a Hodge Award yet, it might be called the Taylor. What he's doing is incredible. And on the bottom side, I got Caldwell. We talked about him a little bit already, but he's solid. He's solid everywhere he's at. He's solid. He's gonna keep himself in a match. He's gonna stay in good position. He's gonna wrestle his match to the best of his ability. Unfortunately, I don't know if that'll be enough tonight with facing Dave Taylor.
But will it be close? It could happen.
It could happen. I'll say that. It could happen. If there's anybody there that could do it, Caldwell could keep it close.
And the one loss that Nicholas had at the University of Virginia, his one loss of the year, is to Caldwell by a score of 2-1. So it's going to be a close match again, but I see Caldwell doing it again. But again, that could be reversed as well. We're just doing our best job to guess up here.
I'm still worried about you being impressed by somebody in that number 2 seed, Tyler Caldwell. He's a nice kid.
How many times has he been in the finals?
I don't know, man, but it seems like a whole lot of years.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You got Greco, freestyle. Do we put too much of a division between those two when it comes to these athletes?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think, as kids growing up, we do all 3 styles, and all suddenly you got to pick one and you got to stick with it. And to a degree, that's true. But, you look at swimming, if they only let our best swimmers do one style, that wouldn't be good for America, And I think it's a good thing. They're splitting up the trials this year, and we'll see some freestylers jump over to Greco, and hopefully a couple Greco guys come over to freestyle. I think it's good for the sport. You want the best guy in the country representing, and I'm a fan of it. I think it only makes you a more rounded wrestler the more styles you do. I'm pumped that Wade agreed with that, because I don't want to disagree with anything these guys say.
Oh, you're such a kiss. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What?
Well, it wasn't directed at you. It wasn't directed at you. All right, next up, 174. But before we do it, we're going to ask your opinion. Who wins at 65? 1, 2, 3.
The audience.
The audience. No, you know what? That's right. You guys win. It's going to be an incredible 65-pound weight class, and we're looking forward to it. Moving on to 74 pounds. Let's do it. Here we go. Chris Perry, Oklahoma State, man, this kid has been so dominant. You look at him returning from last year's NCAAs in Des Moines, and what a performance he put on there. I remember the hug that he gave his brother upon leaving that high platform, that baby blue mat, and it was nothing but sheer emotion for this Oklahoma State senior. His opponent will be he has had such an incredible year with facial hair, Mike Evans from the University of Iowa. It's a porn star mustache if I've ever seen one. At the bottom half, it's Logan Storley, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's wonderful to be able to express yourself. Logan Storley and Andrew Howe at the bottom half. Remember, Howe was at Wisconsin, now at Oklahoma, and it's a different Andrew Howe we're seeing. I truly believe it is, and I think it's a refreshed, energized, and mature Andrew Howe. And Logan Storley is another one of the Minnesota guys making a difference, only backing up my thought process as to why Minnesota perhaps will win this thing by 1 or 2 points. It's going to be a battle. Logan Storley is one of the reasons why. Let's start with our guest, Sam Hazewinkle. Sammy, break it down at 74.
Good luck.
I Boomer Sooner. I got Howe all the way. I think it's one of the few weights you got a couple national champions at. There we go. Got a good Boomer Sooner fan out there. But Howe's been all over the place. He's been in the Olympic test event, placed there. He's gave Burroughs all he wanted in the Olympic trials. This guy shows up when he needs to. For those that were at the Big 12 meet, incredible match. And it's hard to come back and do what you need to do. And I felt like he did what he needed to do. The calls didn't go his way, which is fine. That's part of the sport. But he's got a mission on his mind. I'll tell you a little story real quick. We were in practice the next week, and one of the coaches said, "Hey, jump on kind of like Perry wrestles on him." And our backup, 97-pounder, got thumped for the next 5 minutes. It was a light went off in Howe, and and it wasn't good. You know, he's carrying that, and he's going to come, and he comes so strong. I say all the time, I would love to wrestle the best guys. I want to see how I do against them. We can meet in the middle with Wade. You know, Hal's one of the few people I wouldn't want to wrestle. That guy is a madman. But I'll say this: Perry's going to come to wrestle him. That guy, he's a winner. He's proved it last year. He proved it at Big 12s. He's going to come to fight. But I got Andrew Howe. It's hard to go against Evans with that stash, but I got Andrew Howe.
I know, right? All right, let's go to Wade Chalice. Wade?
Well, Evans is Iowa proud, Iowa strong. He does a really nice job. Unfortunately, I think he's going to bite off a little more than he can chew this evening with Perry. Perry is just mean, nasty, aggressive. And if you saw the Win magazine that came out of the NCAA edition here that's out floating around, and you saw the picture of Howe and Perry wrestling with Perry on top with his legs in, and he had Howe's throat and face, and he was arching him back, and looked like Howe was dying in pain, and Perry had a little smile on his face. It's just, that's Chris Perry. I mean, he's in the game to score more points and make sure that you have a hard time getting out of bed tomorrow. And Howe's the same way.
That's right.
Storley, he's done a great job. He's capable of doing anything here. Getting here, he's done an outstanding job. I think it's going to be the two champs. You have to kind of go with the champs here. Evans is just not going to get it done with Perry, and Howe's probably going to get the best of Storley because both of them want to meet again. It's going to be the best match tomorrow night in the finals. I'm going to go with Howe. Irresistible force, immovable object. They're both, and tomorrow night's match is going to be a smash mouth football game between Perry and Howe. It's going to, you guys are going to win that one, and I think Howe's going to win by 5-4 score.
Yeah, I think definitely Chris Perry, tough, great mat management. I mean, he knows where he is. He'll win by half a point if you could. And so I think he's definitely going to the finals. But you know what? I like Logan Storley. I don't want to go over him too quick. He would get what I call my heart award. And Pat Rowley says there comes a time where you have to define winning from losing, and the true champion seizes it with an effort so intensive, so intuitive, that it could only be called one from the heart. That match he won against Nebraska, one from the heart. Great competitor. That's why Minnesota's tough. They fight hard. They go all the way till the match is over. 6 seconds, this guy believed he could win. Now, having said that, Howe's going to get to the finals, and I think he's going to defeat Perry.
And on the Storley match, you're absolutely right about Logan. Jay Robinson, what a job he does at the University of Minnesota. I think he's one of the best, if not the best coach in America, and there's a lot of other good ones there, and my apologies to Penn State and Oklahoma State and a few other locations, but Logan did a great job today. 6 seconds to go, he's down by 1. The match was over. All the other young man had to do was back up and run like hell because he didn't even have a stalling call, if I remember correctly. But he stayed in there, and Logan pulled it out with a takedown right at the buzzer, which is reminiscent of Minnesota wrestling. They've done that before. Ness did the same thing several years ago to Dennis of Iowa. If you remember, he got a 4-point takedown at the buzzer to win the NCAA championships in the finals. The same thing happened. Damian Hahn from Minnesota, his senior year, he wrestled the kid from Lehigh, I forget his name. Anyhow, took him down right at the buzzer to win by a point. So Minnesota has a history of doing things like this. They find a way to win. And Dell and Ness this afternoon, on the elevator with Green, found a way to win. That's Minnesota wrestling. So you can't count Storley out of this, and Howe has to take him seriously. But Howe is that capable of a wrestler.
All right, we are running quickly out of time. Thank you to Wade Chalice. And we have 184 pounds coming up, so quickly, we want to get your opinion. 74 pounds, who wins this thing on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. I heard Evans out there. There's some fans. That's going to be a battle. It sure is. 84 pounds is up next. We're going to get through these fellas quickly, time allowing. It's Jimmy Sheptalk. Robin, the one time I ask you to say something, you don't say anything.
Robin, come on. Give us your Shep talk. Come on.
There it is. All right.
All right.
So you got Shep Talk, Jack South, Gabe Dean, Ed Ruth, Ed Ruth, another one of those Penn State kids, quietly doing everything he needs to do to win. Let's start over with Sammy Hazewinkle. Sam, quick, who do you have in this one?
I had Ruth, and now I got to go Sheptalk. I was going to go Ruth.
Oh,
but
wow.
Convinced me.
Robin turned you.
He sure did. I wouldn't want to go against him either.
Wade Chalice.
All Pennsylvania finals, Ruth over Sheptalk. Dean's going to be in there, but Ruth has a point to make with Gabe, and Gabe is an excellent wrestler, but I think Ed has a point to make, and I think he's going to make that tonight, and tomorrow night is going to be Ruth over Sheptalk in a close match, finals, all Pennsylvania finals.
Yes, I think Shep Talk's going to definitely make it to the finals. And Gabe, Dean and Ruth is going to be a great. Dean is